Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7 p.m. on KDOC TV.
Tragic news out of Paris. A 9-year-old boy is accidentally shot and killed by his own brother. We have the details.
Dozens of people are evacuated after a natural gas line is ruptured. The efforts to repair it. And a massive crowd is gathered for a huge concert in downtown L.A. We'll show you the scene. Good evening, everyone. I'm Jory Rand. I'm Giovanna Lotta. Welcome to Eyewitness News on KDOC TV, LA's only live local newscast at 7 p.m. A tragic story unfolding in Paris. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies say a 9-year-old boy is dead following an accidental shooting at a home on Metz Road. They say a 14-year-old boy shot and killed his younger brother. Deputies responded to the home just after noon today. Paramedics pronounced the boy dead at the scene. Again, deputies are calling this an accidental shooting, but they're releasing few other details at this time.
Happening now, a ruptured gas line is causing major problems in Hollywood. More than 100 people have been evacuated from Franklin Avenue all the way down to Hollywood Boulevard between Wilcox and Ivar. Eyewitness News reporter Melissa McBride has the latest.
Spewing from a 6-inch line, natural gas permeated the air. The odor was so pungent downwind, people covered their noses and mouths. When the fire department arrived on scene, they told 100 people closest to the leak to evacuate. Some brought their pets.
One of the things I do worry about is that it's going to be an explosion, Fire, you never know. These gas lines are running all up and down the street through the businesses, the homes.
LADWP crews were in the process of installing a water sample on a water main when their backhoe hit the gas line, which was marked.
We were prospecting over that mark, but we did excavate 3.5 feet away from it to basically take the soil from where their mark is and throw it into a different location. And in the process, we came in contact with their gas main.
I mean, hopefully nobody lights a match. That would be pretty awful, but hopefully it looks like they have it under control, and at least they have the street blocked off.
Cahuenga Boulevard between Franklin and Hollywood Boulevard remains shut down while the gas company digs down to cap the leak and make repairs. It's a delicate and lengthy process. Meantime, firefighters are on scene as a precaution.
We are standing by with firefighting lines in place. This is a hazardous situation where an inadvertent spark could start a fire, so we are in place for that reason.
The gas company hopes to have the leak capped by 8 o'clock tonight, but Cahuenga Boulevard between Franklin and Hollywood will be shut down for several hours while crews make repairs to the line and to the street. Reporting in Hollywood, I'm Melissa McBride, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
And we're turning over now to Danny Romero. He's got to look at your full forecast and talking about the weather. Danny.
Yeah, and pretty gray stuff hanging over us right now, Giovanna and Jory. Here we are looking at the 7 o'clock hour. And the clouds are building up a little bit more over the last couple of hours. We go to our LAX camera, which had a lot of blue sky shown about an hour or so ago. Now, dominated by the gray clouds moving in, especially on the coastal spots. So here's one indication of what's ahead of us tonight and into tomorrow morning. Now swing the camera over to California Adventure, Anaheim, of course. California Adventure there, Disneyland. And there at Radiator Springs, the skies are a bit on the cloudy side as well here in the early evening, late afternoon, if you will. The temps staying fairly mild right now, and no matter where you go, it's about the same. 64 at Santa Monica, 66 in Burbank, 65 at Long Beach, 66 in Riverside. Those cool temps are continuing, but what about the week ahead? I'll tell you with the live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day forecast in just a little bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, if you want it, it's all yours. Go ahead.
Thank you, Danny. I'll take it. Another big story tonight. U.S. commandos take out a senior ISIS leader in Syria. ABC's Terry Moran has details on that raid and what American forces found that could unlock secrets about the terror group.
The daring raid happened overnight. Elite Delta Force troops taking off from Iraq aboard Black Hawk helicopters and V-22 Ospreys headed deep into Syria. Their mission, capture and interrogate Abu Sayyaf, a key ISIS leader according to U.S. intelligence, the top money man in charge of ISIS's multi-million-dollar black market oil and gas sales.
This is not just another person. Their revenue streams are extremely important for their survival.
A counterterrorism official tells ABC News Sayyaf is also suspected to be the ISIS leader who had been given American hostage Kayla Mueller, killed in Syria in February as a forced bride or slave. On the ground at Sayyaf's house, a fierce firefight. ISIS fighters defending the building, using women and children as human shields, the Pentagon says. Delta Force commandos pushing forward. At times, the combat was so close, it was hand-to-hand fighting. Abu Sayyaf killed in the firefight, along with a dozen ISIS fighters. Sayyaf's wife captured and held for questioning. All American personnel returned safely after scooping up laptop computers that could prove to be an intelligence windfall. All in all, a significant success.
It should have a large psychological impact on ISIS, that we can go ahead and do raids anywhere we want and take out their key leaders when we want to do it.
ISIS has been making gains on the battlefields in Iraq and Syria in recent weeks, and this raid won't reverse those gains, but it might make ISIS leaders sleep a little less easy at night. Terry Moran, ABC News, London.
Back here at home, LA County Sheriff's deputies are investigating a violent hate crime attack on a high school student. That attack took place on Tuesday afternoon when the Grant High School student was walking in a parking lot at LA Valley College, which is right next door to the Valley Glen High School.
Approximately 10 to 15 Armenians, males of Armenian descent, began yelling racial slurs at the young man, and they began to assault him.
If you have any information about this attack, you are asked to call the LA County Sheriff's Department Community College Bureau at 323-669-7555.
A funeral service for a homeless man fatally shot by Los Angeles police officers on Skid Row. Charlie Kunang was shot and killed after allegedly grabbing an officer's holstered pistol during the scuffle. LAPD Chief Charlie Beck called the shooting justified. Kunang's family disagrees and has filed a $20 million lawsuit against the city and police for excessive force and wrongful death.
In the city of Industry, a speeding car flies off the freeway early this morning, killing 2 people. It happened just before 3 a.m. at the interchange between the 60 and the 605. 2 others were injured in the crash. Investigators say 24-year-old Diego Martinez of Ontario was speeding east on the 60 when he lost control. His car swerved to the right, crossed all lanes of traffic before hitting a tree. A 23-year-old woman and a 49-year-old man were both killed in the crash. Martinez and a 45-year-old woman were both rushed to the hospital with what were called traumatic injuries.
Turning to that deadly train crash in Philadelphia, where investigators are now saying the train's windshield may have been hit by an object shortly before it derailed. ABC's Philip Mena has the latest on the FBI's investigation.
The FBI tonight looking closely at this damage on the left part of the front windshield of Amtrak 188, and if there's any link between similar damage on 2 other trains the same night of that derailment that killed 8 passengers.
There's particular damage there that we want them to look at for us.
An Amtrak conductor who once worked on the 188 weighing in tonight.
There had to be impact on the window to get that kind of damage. We have had our trains stoned before. I mean, all kinds of stuff happens on the Northeast Corridor. If you name it, I've seen it.
The first report of a projectile coming from a southbound Amtrak on the Acela line. Passengers on board say they heard something hit around 9:05.
And immediately I'm like, wow, we just got hit by something too. That's really strange.
Minutes later, a local commuter train is also struck by an object.
An unknown object made contact with that train, shattering the windshield.
The impact on that local train here on these tracks so severe there was forced to make an emergency stop. Around that same time, 188's engineer Brandon Bastian is overheard saying his train was also hit by something. At 9:28, the fatal derailment. But a big question, even if something did hit this train, could it have caused 188 to accelerate to twice the speed limit so fast that it flew off the rails?
2 possibilities. One is that the projectile damaged the train, so it started to speed up on its own, or the engineer was hurt and he couldn't slow it down.
Tonight, federal rail safety regulators instructing Amtrak to employ technology that could have prevented this accident.
And that was Philip Mena reporting. FBI investigators are helping the NTSB analyze the wreckage, and depending on what they find, they could turn it into a criminal investigation.
We are covering breaking news out of Long Beach, where several homes have been evacuated for fear of an explosion. This happened after a man accidentally crashed his car into a garage around 5:30. There were a couple canisters of propane in the car, and the garage itself is full of possible flammable liquids. Police are concerned about those gas tanks and have called the bomb squad because of how the car is situated. We will continue to keep you updated on the situation as more information becomes available. The man who allegedly shot at George Zimmerman during a confrontation on a Florida road has been ordered to turn in his weapons and avoid any contact with Zimmerman. Matthew Apperson made his first court appearance today in Lake Mary, Florida, on charges of aggravated assault and battery. The judge released him on $35,000 bond. Zimmerman's attorney says Apperson intentionally shot at his client's truck without provocation on Monday. Zimmerman suffered minor injuries from flying glass and debris. In the Middle East, an Egyptian court has sentenced former President Mohamed Morsi to death. Morsi and 105 others were all sentenced to death today in Cairo over a mass prison break back in 2011 during Egypt's uprising that toppled former leader Hosni Mubarak. In 2012, Morsi became Egypt's first democratically elected president, but he was overthrown in a military coup a year later following mass protests. Turkey blasted today's death sentence, saying Egypt is rolling back democracy and returning to, quote, old Egypt.
China is not budging on its territorial dispute in the South China Sea. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is in Beijing pushing for a diplomatic solution to ease tensions. China's foreign minister isn't having it, showing no signs of giving ground over Chinese land reclamation projects that have alarmed the U.S. and China's smaller neighbors. The U.S. wants a halt to the projects, which they suspect are aimed at building islands over which China can claim sovereignty. Today's meeting stressed the importance of dialogue between the two countries.
Ahead on Eyewitness News, an art student upheaval at USC. Why an entire class has now dropped out.
Plus, some California salmon are going for a ride. We'll show you why the fish are taking an unconventional journey downstream.
And things get a little ridiculous in downtown LA. We'll take you to a massive concert thrown by DJ Steve Aoki. Next. State and federal wildlife agencies in California are deploying what they say is the biggest fish lift in the state's history. About 30 million young salmon would normally be beginning their big journey downstream right now, but with the ongoing drought, riverbeds are too dry. So those fish, they're going to need to catch a ride this year in order to survive. Convoys of tanker trucks are being rolled out to transport a generation of hatchery salmon downstream. They'll be driven down to San Francisco Bay.
It's Uber for fish.
Yes,
that is fantastic.
That's exactly right. Uber for fish.
Yep. That's what it is.
Very nice.
See, it's great. You know when Giovanna makes a joke because people laugh. When
Yeah.
I make a joke, it's just all grown.
Yeah, or just silence.
Right.
Crickets.
Yep.
Tumbleweeds go through.
Uber for
Thank you,
fish.
Danny.
Uber for fish.
Yeah, you
Good
can use
stuff.
it.
Thank you. So you'll know I stole it from Giovanna later on when I use it and say it's mine. Let's go outside right now because I'll tell you what, we've got some cloudy skies settling in for the nighttime, and for the most part, they're going to be lingering through the week in many areas of Southern California. All right, let's go outside now. Let's take this first look. How about this view? Up above from our Angeles National Forest camera, and there we can see some blue skies. And again, the higher you get, the farther east you get, better chance of seeing some sunshine late in the day. Now, the other side of the picture are gorgeous sunsets down by the beach. Lots of cloud cover there. Some of those purples moving in already as we approach official sunset here in a few minutes. Laguna Beach looking great here live in an HD. Our downtown LA skyline also on the cloudier side and cool, certainly 66 degrees at temperature with just a breeze of 5 miles per hour and our relative humidity at 65%. Here's what's keeping us so cool and mostly cloudy is this trough of low pressure right there. Very well defined. We go tomorrow at 4 p.m. and even move forward beyond that. That low just stays in place and will be there through the week. With its circulation, it grabs that cool, moist air, pushes it onshore to the coastal areas, to some of the valley areas as well. So those areas are going to stay on the cooler, cloudier side through the week with temps well below average. Way inland you have to go to really get a little more warmth and a little more sunshine. Tonight, though, everybody on the cloudy side, temps 40s and 50s for the most part. And then tomorrow's highs, we go from a range of 65 at Malibu to only 69 in Santa Clarita. You go way more inland. Palmdale, you get to 73. Ontario, you get to 74. Same for San Bernardino. But then we look ahead, the 7-day power back weather. Watch where the numbers go. Upper 60s, low 70s for LA Metro and Orange County through the week. We're power back weather and giving you that shot of the week ahead of us. A lot of cloud cover there most of the day, every day. For the Valley, Inland Empire, a little more warmth tomorrow, 74, but then the clouds kind of start to dominate the rest of the week and keeps temps in the upper 60s, low 70s right through into next Friday and Saturday as well. Look towards the beaches there, May gray settling in. Temps not getting much above a 67 for next Friday and Saturday. And for the mountain spots, that's where you get the clearing skies, but cool temps. Upper 50s for the highs through the week with some breezy to windy conditions Sunday, Monday, and at the end of the week. Same for the desert, high desert areas as we get winds Sunday, Monday, Thursday through the weekend, and the temperatures stay in that low 70s range with sunshine, clear skies through the week. So that's where if you want to go inland, you can find your clearing skies. But that's a bit of a drive unless you're living right there in the high desert.
Yeah.
In which case, enjoy.
Yeah.
All right, there you go.
Thank you, Danny.
All right.
There's been an art student upheaval at USC. The entire graduate class of 2016 at the university's Roski School of Art and Design has dropped out, protesting funding, faculty, and curriculum changes. The 7 students posted a letter online saying they're withdrawing because of changes to the program after they enrolled, the loss of prominent professors, and fewer guaranteed TA positions. The school says it regrets their decision and that issues involving curriculum and financial aid were considered resolved.
Downtown Los Angeles is rocking tonight. A huge concert has taken over Broadway, drawing thousands to downtown.
That's right. DJ Steve Aoki is teaming up with LA Mayor Eric Garcetti for the sold-out show. Eyewitness News reporter Leanne Suter shows us what's going on.
DJ Vocal 1222.
Crews finished the final preps as DJ Steve Aoki prepares to take over downtown LA for a sold-out, one-of-a-kind concert.
This is the most epic, monumental show of my life. I mean, the heart of the city, on the streets of downtown LA. This is where my career broke. This is where all the major things in my life has happened.
The view from the stage straight down Broadway. The thoroughfare shut down from 4th to 6th. 2 city blocks full of 8,000 fans. Aoki teaming up with the mayor to promote his new album and the city he loves. Dubbed LA Aoki, tickets were only available to fans who signed up for information about the mayor's volunteer corps.
I think it's pretty cool that he's doing it for the city, helping the city out and working with the mayor and, putting on a show for the city for free.
The concert, which is part of the city's Bring Back Broadway effort, runs from 8 to 11 p.m. And it's not just those with tickets who will get to enjoy the free show. All those living along Broadway also get a front row seat.
Window view of the whole show, so it's great to have this right outside my window.
Broadway's really great to live on. It's a really great part of town.
Aoki says he wanted to do something outside the box and at the same time give back to the city that has given him so much. Fans say they love the setting, especially since it introduces them to a part of the city many have never visited.
I think it's really cool. Like, it's out on the street for everyone to come out to see LA, see what the city gives and how beautiful it is.
Certainly is an amazing setting here. The concert again runs from 8 to 11 p.m. But if you were hoping to come down and enjoy the show in person, no such luck. No tickets available, completely sold out. In downtown Los Angeles, Leanne Suter, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
More pain at the pump as gas prices continue to rise.
Still to come, we'll tell you how much you're going to pay depending on where you live. Plus this.
There's a new documentary about successful professional race driver P.L. Newman. I'm Dave Coons. You might know him better by his other name and profession, Paul Newman, movie star. I'll have the story coming up.
Driving around town, you can get really surprised at some of the gas prices out there. Something like $4.50 maybe. They are going up. Industry officials say production problems at a refinery are causing gas prices to continue to rise. The cost per gallon of regular unleaded gas in the LA Long Beach area is now $4.01. In Orange County, it's $4 a gallon. It is $3.94 a gallon in the IE, and in Ventura County, it's $3.99 a gallon.
It needs to stop right there. It's a touching event that allows kids and adults to get up close with trucks. The inaugural Long Beach Touch-a-Truck brought out thousands of people to this Belmont Shores Beach parking lot to experience all kinds of trucks. The free event allowed visitors to see and touch big rigs, construction and dump trucks, even a double-decker English bus.
Little boys and little girls, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6-year-olds are just fascinated by these big trucks. But there's a lot of older people here, myself, who are fascinated with all these vehicles.
More than 50 trucks were on display at this interactive event.
Oscar-winning actor Paul Newman is known for his many iconic film roles, but he also had another passion, racing cars. Now a new documentary is showing how the late star decided to start racing at the age of 47 and found big-time success. Car specialist Dave Coons gives us a preview.
The late Paul Newman was an Oscar-winning movie star. Most everyone knows that. But there was another side to Newman that tended to fly under the radar.
The victory lap and the taste of triumph certainly aren't new to Newman.
He had a successful career away from Hollywood as a racing driver.
He was one of those guys that liked guys and regular guys and race car guys. He probably didn't like Hollywood guys that much. He wasn't interested in that lifestyle, so he spent all his time with dudes, and I get it.
In his new documentary, Winning, The Racing Life of Paul Newman, comic Adam Carolla explores the world of the racer who went by P.L. Newman. Using interviews with those who raced alongside him and were close to him in general, we get a candid look at the man who drove competitively, not starting until his late 40s and continuing on into his 80s, all the while just wanted to be thought of in a different light.
People didn't even think of him as being a movie star racer. He was just a racer.
Adam Carolla's had a pretty varied career. He's been a television host, he's been a morning radio host, he even did Dancing with the Stars. So what made him want to do a documentary about the late actor Paul Newman? Well, it all started with Adam's love of vintage Datsun race cars. After researching details about a Bob Sharp team car he'd purchased, the subject of Newman as a racer just came naturally.
I was into Datsuns before I was into Newman. I started off Datsun, and then it just conveniently bled into Newman.
The story also chronicles Newman's successful venture as a racing team owner and ends with his last role in a major motion picture, fittingly voicing Doc Hudson in the animated feature Cars. Carolla's goal was broad appeal to those who aren't necessarily into racing, but just like a good story.
I didn't want it to be just a gearhead-centric movie. I wanted the wives to be able to watch it with the husbands and even the kids to watch it with the moms and the dads.
Winning, The Racing Life of Paul Newman is available on demand starting next weekend. Dave Coons, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
We're updating our top stories at 7:30, including the latest on a child who was shot and killed in Paris.
And the search is on for a sexual assault suspect in Boyle Heights. Now police need your help identifying the predator.
Plus, a close call for passengers after a train slams into their bus. We'll show you more of this terrifying video.
Wow, and a shocking scene in a medical marijuana dispensary. Watch as robbers hold up office workers at gunpoint.
Live from ABC7, this is Eyewitness News at 7:30 p.m. on KDOC TV.
Our top story at 7:30, a tragic death in Paris. A 9-year-old boy accidentally shot and killed. I'm Giovanna Lotta.
I'm Jory Rand. This is Eyewitness News on KDOC TV, LA's only live local newscast at 7:30 p.m. Riverside County Sheriff's deputies are calling this an accident. They say a 14-year-old shot his younger brother around noon today at a home on Metz Road. Paramedics declared that 9-year-old dead at the scene. The investigation is ongoing at this hour with a large crime scene set up around the home.
More than 100 people were evacuated in Hollywood after workers ruptured a large gas line. LADWP crews were in the process of installing a water sample on a water main when their black hoe hit the gas line, which was marked. A section of Cahuenga Boulevard was closed to traffic. So far, there have not been reports of any injuries. A temporary shelter has been set up at the Poinsettia Recreation Center.
The search is on for a dangerous predator. Police say a man armed with a machete broke into a Boyle Heights home and sexually assaulted a woman. Eyewitness News reporter Hugh McCrae has details, including a sketch of the suspect.
The LAPD says there's a machete-wielding rapist on the loose, and he looks just like this. Does this guy look familiar to you?
No, I have not seen him before.
Well,
I've never seen the guy before, you know.
You haven't seen this guy before?
No.
We showed the sketch to Boyle Heights residents who live near where the crime happened in the 1800 block of Pennsylvania Avenue. Everyone we spoke to is on edge.
That's just ridiculous, you know what I mean? Just people are sick, you know, to even think of doing something like that, you know, and to think that you can't even be safe in your own house, in your own neighborhood, you know, you lock your door just to have your window open because it's hot outside or whatever, you know, someone's going to crawl in and rape you, you know, it's just horrible.
According to detectives, he broke into a 30-year-old woman's home through the living room window, undressed down to his underwear with the knife in hand when the victim woke up.
He jumped on her and sexually assaulted her. He dressed himself and then left the residence.
Cops are looking for a Hispanic man around 35 years old with wavy hair, 5'4", 150 pounds, with a scar on his upper lip. Eliana Garcia has her guard up.
My landlord actually called me earlier this morning to tell me to lock my windows and everything. So I understand that it's for security reasons.
So if this composite sketch looks familiar to you, don't hesitate to call the LAPD. The number, 1-877-LAPD 24/7. In Boyle Heights, I'm Hugh McCrae, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
A gas station robbery has neighbors in Lancaster on edge. It happened a little after midnight on the 1800 block of West Avenue K. Investigators say a man and a woman pointed a rifle at the clerk and ordered him to open the register. The suspects, whose faces were covered with bandanas, fled with the cash. No one was hurt.
Police are also looking for 2 suspects in the robbery of a restaurant on Washington Boulevard in the Mid-City area. It happened a little before 10 last night at the Ondal restaurant. 2 men showed a gun and were able to escape with between $2,000 and $3,000. No one was injured, but the restaurant did close down as investigators conducted their investigation. If you have any information on this case, you are asked to call the LAPD.
In Georgia, a terrifyingly close call for some passengers when a train slams into their bus south of Atlanta. And it's all caught on video. Take a look. The bus is stopped on the tracks when the 5 passengers see a freight train hurling toward them. They rushed the exits, jumping off just before the train hit, but one man was knocked over and seriously injured when the bus spun and hit him. He's still in the hospital. That driver was knocked from his seat and is okay. He was drug tested and placed on paid leave. Everyone else was hospitalized and later released. Startling surveillance video out of Phoenix captures 3 brazen bandits holding up office workers at gunpoint. You can see the suspects, a man and 2 women, storm in, guns drawn, and demand the victims get on the floor. It happened at an office related to a medical marijuana dispensary. They then tied up the victims and demanded money, holding guns to the victims' heads. They got away with an undisclosed amount of cash.
An unusual protest in Seattle when a flotilla of kayaks, canoes, and other boats protested plans to drill for oil in the Arctic Ocean. Hundreds of activists took part in the protest in Elliott Bay. They're hoping to send a message to Royal Dutch Shell Company to cancel their plans to drill in the Arctic. The water protest, dubbed the Paddle in Seattle, is just blocks away from where Shell's drilling rig is now docked in Seattle.
Time to get a check of your weather. Here's Danny Romero. Hey there, Danny.
How you doing, Giovanna and Jory? Clouds moving in now in the early evening hours over Southern California. I'll show you a couple of views of it. We got our Long Beach camera live and in HD as the Queen sits in the water. We can see the clouds now starting to move in, that marine layer thickening up and the cloud cover moving in. Now also, swing our camera over to Anaheim now, to California Adventure in their Radiator Springs. A little cloud cover moving in there as well. Folks, though, don't seem to mind enjoying walking around there through California to Radiator Springs. Our downtown LA camera has a few clouds happening right now, and today our temperatures, and it will be this way for a while, below the normal. 74 is the average temp for this date. Only got to 71 downtown, with sunrise happening tomorrow morning at 7:50 and sunset officially at 7:48. Right now, look to the skies and see how things are shaping up over the Southland. Not bad at all. Now, how the week ahead looks, I'll tell you when I come back with your live Mega Doppler 7000 HD 7-day forecast in just a bit. Right now, Jory and Giovanna, go ahead.
Okay, Danny. Here's an interesting question. How much are the President and the First Lady worth? Financial disclosure reports show their assets haven't changed much from 2013 to 14. The Obama's 2014 financial report lists assets valued between $2 and $7 million. As with many couples their age, their assets include a house, retirement funds, and college saving plans for their daughters. The report follows the release of the couple's federal income tax returns. The Obamas paid more than $93,000 in federal taxes in 2014 on an adjusted gross income of more than $477,000. Meantime, Bill and Hillary Clinton have made more than $30 million just since January of 2014. Most of that money came from speeches Hillary gave as she toured the country before she declared for president. The Clintons have given a total of 104 paid speeches since January of last year. Hillary's highest grossing speech made $335,000. It was at an appearance at Qualcomm in San Diego last October. She also received more than $5 million in royalties from her memoir.
Republican White House hopefuls are once again gathering in Iowa this weekend, and Jeb Bush is there. He's had a tough week in damage control after flip-flopping on whether he would have gone to war in Iraq knowing what he knows today. The former Florida governor eventually settled on the answer that he would not have gone into Iraq. He addressed the issue at a town hall event today.
Look, I'm proud of my brother, and he did what he thought was right.
Bush alluded to an eventual run for the White House, saying moving forward, he's focused on showing people who he is and that he's running for the right reasons.
Still to come, it was a welcome home. To remember for one Kentucky soldier.
We will show you the emotional reunion when he surprised his son on a baseball field.
And the growing need for foster care and adoptive parents have some turning to the local LGBT community for support. We'll have the details just ahead.
The Hollywood-based group Raise a Child hosted an event today aimed at getting families interested in foster care. The group teamed up with the LA County Department of Children and Family Services for a special recruitment event in West Hollywood. Raise a Child focuses on reaching out to prospective parents who are lesbian, gay, bisexual, or transgender. Social workers say there is a great need for more caring foster families.
We desperately need families. We have 500 kids at any given time who are waiting for adoptive homes, and we have 19,000 kids in foster care at any given time.
Organizers say a diverse group showed up to learn about foster parenting, including some single folks and heterosexual couples.
It was a reunion nearly a year in the making, and one a Kentucky family will never forget. Colonel Ed Box has been serving in Afghanistan. He's home on leave and wanted his boys to find out he's home in a place that they love on the baseball diamond. With his oldest son playing and his youngest on the sidelines, Colonel Box stormed the field to tears and hugs. The visit was even more special because he coached that team for 2 years before he was deployed.
So this time coming back and being able to see the team and see who's changed and who is still here, it's just a great privilege to come back.
The colonel had been planning the surprise for months. During his 2 weeks home, he will see his son graduate from high school.
He suffered life-altering injuries in a beating at Dodger Stadium.
Now, after several years of rehab, Brian Stowe has a special message for students. We'll have the details coming up.
And exhaustion at the top of Mount Baldy. Find out if the Amgen Tour has a new leader.
Take a look at some amazing video. This is a lightning storm hitting northeastern Colorado. This was the scene in the town of Julesburg, just across the Nebraska border, when the intense storm dumped hail and prompted tornado warnings. Despite the intensity of the storm, there have been no reports of injuries or damages. Just a pretty cool lights show.
And look at this. We're getting our first look at the birth of a baby beluga born at the Georgia Aquarium this week. The beluga whale named Maris gave birth on Mother's Day, and a camera crew captured the birth. The new beluga baby weighed about 127 pounds and started life at just under 5 feet long. Aquarium staff and volunteers had been on a 24-hour watch of the beluga tank to make sure everything went smoothly. They'll continue monitoring mother and baby around the clock just to make sure the baby is doing well.
I really love how the mom just immediately goes to the baby, just kind of
so
noses up to it, just
instinct,
to make, yeah,
right?
It's amazing.
That's what it is.
And you have an instinct for weather.
And I'll tell you what, we've got clouds coming in, and we're going to see those stick around with us. Now, there'll be some areas that we'll get a little sunshine breaking through late in the day, but for the most part, the week ahead has a lot of May gray elements in it. Let's go outside right now and give you some gorgeous views of some spots. I'm kind of excited to show you these shots. First up, we got our Laguna Beach camera showing you the coast. Building up that cloud cover right now here in the early evening hours. More of that coming in, and now a fairly deserted beach in the picture. But look at this shot. I'm going to get out of the way. It's so good. This is amazing. Our Big Bear camera live and in HD. The colors of sunset over Southern California in the upper elevations. Look at that layer of clouds hanging low. Then the colors. Oh, that's just a great, great shot. Now to downtown LA we go, and there still a little bit of cloud cover showing through, and the sunlight trying to get in there in the waning hours of the day. 66 degrees now, 65% relative humidity, and we can see a lot of clouds around the west coast. Now, the big energy to the south of us, so no real rain for us. We're going to get the cloud cover as this low just continues to stay spinning off the coast, bringing on shore that cool marine air with clouds staying with us pretty much every day, and temps staying below the average temps at this time of year, certainly for the next 5 to 7 days ahead of us. Here's numbers tonight, down to 40s and 50s in most spots. And the highs tomorrow, we're going to see a lot of 60s from the coast, Malibu to Santa Clarita Inland, Pasadena 69, 63 Redondo Beach. To get some sunshine, you get it 70s in Palmdale, through the IE, San Bernardino, and Riverside at 74 and 76. Of course, the Desert Palm Springs up to 84. Now here's a 7-day. Powered by AccuWeather and showing you for LA Metro and Orange County, partly to mostly cloudy skies through the entire week, and the highs in the lower 70s, upper 60s through the week and into next weekend as well. For the valleys and the Inland Empire, a little more sunshine tomorrow, 74. You got to go way inland for that. These are average temps through the week. 69 for Monday, and then we still see that up and down temps, upper 60s, low 70s through the entire week. Average numbers going 70 to 72 by next weekend for the valleys and Inland Empire. The beaches, look for a lot of gray skies there through the weekend. Temps staying right around that mid to upper 60s. Tomorrow all the way through next Friday and Saturday. Our mountain spots, there's your clear skies. We're going to see that through the entire week, and temperatures hovering in the 52 to 59 range through the week. We'll see some winds kick up tomorrow and Monday, then again Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Nighttime temps down near freezing. Watch for that. High desert, sunshine aplenty as numbers stay in the low 70s. The winds kick up in that 20-30-mile-per-hour range for some gusty winds. But as the temperatures go through the week, we go from 73 on Sunday to as cool as 70 on Monday. And then by next weekend, with some windy conditions, we'll go to 72 and 73. So to find some real clearing skies, mountains and the desert. So where you go.
Okay. Danny, thank you. 4 years after Brian Stowe was brutally attacked on opening day between the Giants and the Dodgers, he's finding new purpose in life. Friday morning, Stowe, a former Santa Cruz paramedic, was a featured speaker at Baymont Christian School in Scotts Valley, talking to more than 100 students about bullying and ways to prevent it. Stowe was joined on stage by Elliot Stone, the owner of Elite Martial Arts Academy in Scotts Valley. Together, the two dissected the attack that changed Stowe's life.
I survived for a reason. I'm finding my purpose again. I'm on a mission to tell my story of survival and to stop bullies from hurting anyone else.
After the assembly, dozens of students lined up to take photos with Stowe, shake his hand, and commend him on his bravery. Among the words they used to compliment him were inspiration and hero.
Kurt's hanging out with some cyclists right now, so I've got your sports. And how about this for domination? Zach Greinke has started 33 games in his career against teams from the National League West. He has lost one of them. Think about that. That's nearly impossible, but he'll need some help from the Dodgers offense tonight to avoid loss number 2. Dodgers trailing the Rockies right now 1-0 in the 6th. All your highlights on ABC7 at 11. On to Baltimore, where the Angels and O's were delayed by rain for an hour, but they got going, and Matt Shoemaker was solid until this happened in the 4th. Steve Pearce homers to left, but it was Shoemaker's only major mistake in 7 innings of work, and the Angels offense finally wakes up in the 7th. Mark Krause slaps a base hit to left. In comes Johnny Giavotella. Halos up 2-1, and Mike Trout provides the insurance. His 10th home run of the season gets out of there towards the warehouse in a hurry. David Freese also went deep. Angels have won 5 straight. They beat the O's 6-1. We mentioned that rain delay. Well, here's why. The very same storm cleared the infield at today's Preakness Stakes, but they were still able to get the race in, and through the muck and the mud, American Pharoah apparently is a mutter. His mutter's a mutter. His fodder is a mutter. His fodder's a mutter? What'd I say? Bob Baffert's horse dominated the stretch run, winning by 7 lengths. He'll go for the Triple Crown in 3 weeks from today in the Belmont Stakes. If he does it, he'd be the first horse since 1977 to do so. Here's where Kurt is right now. Horsepower of the 2-wheel variety attacked Mount Baldy today. The Frenchman Julien Alaphilippe with our favorite roadie in tow. Nice helmet there, but powered up the final climb. And by the time he hit the line, he needed to make up 45 seconds on Peter Sagan to claim the yellow jersey. And look at Sagan. He turned himself inside out just to miss by 2 seconds. He is exhausted at the line, needed help off his bike. The Amgen Tour finishes up tomorrow in Pasadena. It should be full of drama. Finally, 97 wins in 9 seasons, 2 national titles. Trojan fans likely miss Pete Carroll at USC. This weekend, though, Carroll, now a Super Bowl winner in Seattle, is back to receive an honorary degree and is also being inducted into the Trojan Hall of Fame.
It's really been a thrill to be back, and I loved so much of that went on here through these years that we were here, and all to be recognized after the fact and brought back. This is a great honor.
I'm sure Trojan fans like seeing him just with those colors behind him. It brings back a lot of good memories.
Ahead on Eyewitness News here on KDOC TV, a major action movie is looking to make some noise this weekend at the box office, but a smaller film is also getting some attention.
Still to come, we'll go behind the scenes of the new movie Where Hope Grows and show you why many are really looking forward to its heartwarming message. It was a rainy day in Texas, but the University of Houston's graduation ceremony was still all right. Thanks, of course, to Matthew McConaughey. The Oscar winner delivered the commencement speech, sharing his thoughts on life to 4,300 graduates. McConaughey graduated from rival Texas, which stirred up a little controversy, as did his $140,000 speaking fee. But the star is donating that money to his youth empowerment charity titled the Just Keep Living Foundation.
Did he keep his shirt on?
Looked like he was taking something off.
I saw that. The power of friendship, even if it's found in the most unlikely places, is the theme of the new movie Where Hope Grows. Entertainment guru George Pinocchio has a preview.
You drunk again, Mr. Campbell?
Where do you think you're going?
Out with cold?
No, you were 16 years old.
I'm 17, Dad.
The new movie Where Hope Grows tells the story of a baseball player who couldn't quite cut it in the major leagues. Actor Chris Polaha plays the disheartened athlete who moves back to his hometown and ends up spending more time with his drinking buddies than with his teenage daughter. But then a chance encounter with a young man with Down syndrome helps lead him out of his darker days.
It's a movie about hope and redemption, and I think that watching David do what he does will shatter all stereotypes, which I think is the most important sort of message that the film can portray.
David is David DeSanctis, a Kentucky native who answered an open casting call and earned the starring role.
This was my very first film that I ever made in my whole life.
Maybe you just need to smile. A cheerful heart is good medicine.
I want to do more, and I also want to act in the next TV show or movie that Bikini Miller stars in.
We're going to be film buddies now.
Co-star McKaylee Miller was impressed with David's skills on the set.
Just by watching David and his just natural ability and his just pure joy was such a great experience. Coming on set with David, he knew all of his lines. He was very prepared. He had made a playlist of each scene. He dedicated a song to each scene. So he was on it.
David has a mantra that he happily shares with anyone who crosses his path.
My promotional biggest thing is to look onto our abilities instead of our disabilities.
Where Hope Grows is in theaters now. George Pinocchio, ABC7 Eyewitness News.
One Pennsylvania boy makes good on a promise he made 10 years ago.
He took his friend with Down syndrome to the prom. Ben Moser's mom says in 4th grade he promised her that he would take his friend Mary Lapkowitz to prom. But after the 6th grade, Mary switched schools and they lost touch until meeting on the football field when their schools played each other. Ben is a quarterback on his high school football team and Mary is the ball girl for her high school's team. Ben asked her to go to prom, which was last weekend, and we're told they had a good time.
It was fun, and we got dance.
There's nothing wrong with going to a prom with somebody that's not like everybody else. There's nothing wrong with that. You should just be who you are, keep your word, be you.
What a great guy. The mothers of both teams say they're proud and glad they can share a memory like this together. So sweet.
It's a great lesson. It really is.
Sure is.
Good stuff. Thank you so much for joining us here on Eyewitness News at 7 on KDOC TV. Weekend Theater is up next.
Eyewitness News continues at 11 p.m. on ABC7 and anytime on ABC7.com. Have a good night. We'll see you at 11.